Hey guys, welcome back to DGA Live. It is your host, Dominick. I'm hanging out, Miss Chris.
Hey.
As always, you know this. So last week on the channel, we did something. We did a top 10 list of our favorite 80s movies. We continued that with 90s movies. So we're going to kind of continue that cycle, but now we're going to go back to retro gaming. And we are going to talk about, as a matter of fact, real quick, I believe it's Atari's birthday today.
Is it?
42 years old.
Nice.
I could be wrong, but I think it is Atari's birthday today. So we are going to do a top 10 list, and it's our personal top 10 list of 80s video games. So there was really no rules on this one. Basically, it just had to be released
In the 80s.
in the 80s.
Yeah.
Any console, arcade, computer, whatever the hell it wanted. As long as it was a video game that was released in the 80s. Top 10 with a couple honorable mentions, which let me tell you right now, when I created this list,
Do you have a lot of honorable mentions?
I had to knock them down.
This one
because
was
this
so
could've-
much easier for me.
Oh my God, this could have went. The 80s was my favorite era for video games. To me, 80s video games were simple to play, hard to master, and it was all about points.
Yeah, when I was
All
doing
about points.
my research on it, I did notice there were a lot in there that I didn't put on my list, but I knew that you were going to have either on your list or in your honorable mentions,
Yeah.
but a lot of them didn't even make my honorable mention.
So yeah, the way I did my list is and by the way, we haven't shown each other our list. I told her, keep your list secret.
Mine's folded up, you can't
Mine's
see it.
secret. This is the first time she's seen me with it. So we could just kind of see if we've got any in common. Now on the 80s videos, we had one in common. And on the 90s video, I think we had one in common.
One, yep.
So I'm hoping we get some more on this one.
I think we will.
Let's get right to it. Let's start. Go count down 10 to 1.
Okay.
Your number 10 video game.
My number 10 is Dig Dug.
Dig Dug. Didn't even make an honorable mention for me, but it is a great game.
It really is.
I just never got into a night of Dig Dug. Like, I'll play it once in a while. You know what I mean? Dig Dug 2 was garbage to me. But,
we have it currently. And what
Yeah.
system do we have it on? Is it our
Nintendo?
Is it our Nintendo?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
That's why it was like my very last one. It's always been so fun to me.
It's definitely something that I would say sums up the 80s.
Yep.
Now, my number 10 goes back to 82. And it was tough picking this one because this is the first video game I've ever owned. And I own the Atari version, but I love the arcade version. And I put Joust.
Joust. I knew
Yeah.
that was going to be on yours.
Did it make your list?
It didn't. I didn't even play Joust for the first time until, was it last year we went to Cobra Arcade? That's the first time was that when we first played Joust? Yeah.
They had the arcade there.
Yeah, that's the first time I had ever seen it and ever played it.
Yeah, that was my first. Now, Joust on Atari was pretty sad.
Yeah.
It was pretty sad. But back then you didn't care. But playing it in the arcade, it's just, I gravitate toward it because it was the first video game I ever owned.
Okay. Yeah.
Number 9.
Frogger.
I thought about Frogger, but I was like, you know what? It's not a favorite of mine.
But
it's a good game.
It is, and
but
it's
not
hard.
top 10 good.
But it's hard.
It's hard if you keep going.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that I
Yeah.
played. It came on multiple consoles. Like you could get it different
What
ways.
year did that come out?
It came out in '81.
Okay.
We even played that at Cobra Arcade as well, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I want to say that was done by Parker Brothers. Now I could be wrong.
I couldn't
But
tell
Parker Brothers, like the board game.
Yep.
I think they had something to do with that. My number 9 is my favorite Atari game. That's why I had to add it. Now I could have made this whole list Atari, but I'm like, no, I'm going to try to go by what I really enjoyed playing. Number 9, I put Yar's Revenge.
Okay, that didn't even cross my mind.
1982, and there's just something about that game. Basically, you're a bug, or Yar.
Yep.
And you're on the screen. There's a force field, and there's no music in this game. It's just just the whole fucking time. And you gotta blast through the force field, get to the dude, throw your missile in it, and boom, just keep going.
Yep.
And there's just something about it that's addicting to me. And the cover art too. That box. Oh my God, I just want a poster of it. I love the cover. Atari had the best cover art, I think, to this day. What's your 8?
Okay, so this one is very near and dear to my heart. During my middle school, high school years, my best friend's family owned a pizza joint in the little tiny town that I grew up in. So I spent my weekends at the pizza joint with her. We ate free pizza. Yeah. We got free coins to go play. They had pinball machines and the video games. This one I played all the time. We have it on, I think, one of our little consoles. Okay. Spy Hunter.
Oh yeah. What year was it?
Such a fun one. 83.
83, and they had the that was a good game. That was dun 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 dun. Yeah, that was what the hell is that? Peter Gunn.
Yes.
It was the Peter Gunn. That's a good game. That's a good game.
So it brings back some childhood memories for me.
My number 8 is still a favorite of mine, not just 80s. It is still a favorite of mine. Came out in 1986. First time I played it was in the arcades, but then I remember it being released on Nintendo. Me and my brother stayed up all night trying to beat this fucking game, and it's Rampage.
Oh, that's a great one.
Rampage, I think to me, I'm trying to go back, I think it was the first time I played a video game where you were the bad guy. You know,
you're down the building.
You're the monster. You just destroy fucking. It's very repetitive.
Yeah, right.
It's extremely repetitive. But these games in the 80s were.
Right.
And you just beat the shit out of buildings until they crumble. Eat humans. Take out tanks while they're trying to kill you. And there's been a ton of different versions of it. There's Rampage World Tour.
That's the one that we have. That we stayed up recently. Well,
when I say
recently, a couple months ago,
we stayed up and we tried to beat it. We tried to beat the arcade.
Right. And how many levels did we get to? I want to say it was like 125
I think
or
we
something.
we spent about 4. This is how much of losers we are. 4 hours, 5 hours playing this straight.
And it's the same thing, you know, the San Diego or New York or Chicago or
different cities.
Right.
Different cities, but
it's the same thing over and over.
When you beat it in Nintendo, you basically beat the United States.
Oh, okay, right.
And then all the states go black, and you destroy the country. In the arcade, we found out that once you go through all these cities, like 127, you have to do that 4 times before you actually beat it. And I'm like, dude, I'm not doing another fucking 8 hours. It's not happening. So yeah, what's your 7?
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong is an honorable mention. I wasn't big into Donkey Kong in the arcade. It wasn't until it came out on Nintendo when I started dedicating time to it.
And I absolutely love the Nintendo version, and the newer one I have on my DS. It's so much fun, but
you're talking about Donkey Kong Country?
Country, yeah.
Yeah, that's newer. Right. That's not 80s. But,
no, I know it's not.
Yeah, original Donkey Kong is iconic. That
81.
That's where Mario was pretty much born.
Yeah, goes up the ladder, right.
And but that's where the character Mario came from. Before it was Mario, his name was Jumpman. And the little princess at the top, I think her name was Pauline. If you guys know her name, put it in the comments. I think I might be wrong, but Pauline was the bitch up here. Help! That was it. Yeah. But that's what came. And on the Nintendo version, they actually call him Mario. But little now you know the fucking thing.
No.
My number 7 is a game that I don't own anymore, but another one that me and my brother are very passionate about. I've played it. I owned it on Nintendo, but the Commodore 64 version is way better, and it's Maniac Mansion. Have you played this? Maniac Mansion was a graphic adventure game and a lot of point and click type shit. And basically you're this dude that you have to go save your girlfriend from this house, and the house is ran by like a mad scientist, and like this meteor hits and like all this shit's going on in this house. So it's very adventurous. Like if you find a flashlight, you have to go find the batteries, and the batteries are in the refrigerator. And like it's one of those games where you're collecting stuff and you use it. Meanwhile, you don't want to get captured by the mad scientist and his family, and there's aliens and all this other crap in it. Awesome game. It's the first time I ever played a game like that was on Nintendo. Later on, it came out. Actually, came out on I think Commodore first, but I didn't own it. and played it on the Commodore, and it was way better because Nintendo dumbed it down to make it family, a little bit more family friendly.
Right.
And it was actually done by Lucas.
Oh, okay.
Lucas Ltd. was Lucasfilms and all that stuff. Had his stamp of approval on it. So if you haven't played that, just check it out, Maniac Mansion.
I've never even heard of it.
Oh, great game.
Check it out.
6.
Okay, so this one I absolutely love. This one brings back memories of my mother. My mother would play this like for hours. Mario 2. Super Mario 2.
We got one in common. For me, it's number 4.
Okay.
And go ahead. Were you saying anything else?
This is the one where you played the princess. You could play. My favorite was the princess.
Oh yeah.
She's the best, but I love it. We actually have it. We've played it.
Yep. Now I do want to say something because me personally, my favorite of the trilogy, all right, Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3. My favorite of the trilogy is 3. And the thing with Mario Brothers 3 was actually released in 1988 in Japan. It didn't hit the States until 1990. So I left it off the list because of that. Okay? But Mario Brothers 2 was such a badass game. When you play 1, and most people got Mario Brothers 1 with their Nintendo system. It came with that cartridge that was Mario and Duck Hunt.
Right. Oh yeah, right. I love
And
Duck
it
Hunt.
was a great game. Don't get me wrong. Then 2 comes out and it's more colorful. You got 4 playable characters. Every character has their own little thing. Like Toad was the strongest. Luigi could jump the highest. Princess could float.
Like the longest.
Yeah,
right.
she could float. And actually, a little thing too is I could only beat the game with Princess.
Really?
Right. Now I could play all the levels up until the last world, but I need Princess, man. I need that float.
To beat it.
I've never beat it with anybody besides Princess Toadstool. And have you ever beat that?
I don't think so, but I couldn't tell you.
When you beat that game, it's a dream. So when you beat the game and it goes to a cutscene, it's Mario sleeping in bed, and he dreamt.
I know I haven't beat it then.
He dreamt the whole thing. I remember watching it. I go, it's a fucking dream. I did all this shit for nothing. But it was definitely in my top 10. I have it as number 4.
Nice.
What was it? 6?
6.
My 6 is 1988, and the first time I played this was on TurboGrafx, the TurboGrafx 16, and it's Splatterhouse.
Okay.
And I don't know if you knew.
I've never heard of it, and that's the one that they're coming out with another one, right?
No, they're bringing it back.
Oh, they're bringing that one back. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had not heard of that until you had told me about that. I'm pretty excited to see the new one.
Splatterhouse, I could be wrong on this, I believe is owned by Bandai Namco, because I always see it with Bandai Namco stuff. But Evercade is releasing it on their console. It is making its way to the TurboGrafx 16 Mini when that comes out in March. So I'm super stoked about it because I don't own this game anymore. I've played 1 and 2. I never played the third one, but I think 2 came out in 1990, so it didn't make the cut. I love 1 and 2. Great game. You play as a guy named Rick, and basically Rick is a ripoff of Jason Voorhees. He looks just like him, except he's ripped. And it's it's just a horror beat 'em up game. So go ahead. We're 5.
Number 5. So what did you say didn't come out until the 90s in the US?
Mario 3.
Okay. So my number 5 is Mario Brothers, which came out in 83.
Yes.
I like all the Mario trilogies, like all of them.
It's a classic game. Game. I mean, anytime I have that on any console, I always give it a play. The original Super Mario Brothers. But after playing 2 and 3, it's hard for me to go back to 1, especially in a top 10 list.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. But it's such a classic, you know what I mean? To go back and revisit and see what it was, that first game. That was, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the one that came with Duck Hunt, right?
Yes.
That was my very first game, because my very first console I ever received was the original Nintendo. So I got I got Mario with Duck Hunt, and then we had what's the one with remember the big pad and you can run.
Oh, you
and
had
jump?
the power pad?
Hell yeah!
Oh, jeez.
Had the power pad.
What the hell
and
was
the
track and field?
Track and field, and I had the duck
field.
hunt gun.
Yeah.
You do the clay pods.
What color was your zapper?
It was gray.
Okay, you had the gray one?
Yeah, because they had a red one too,
they
right?
Had like a day glow orange one. Right. All right. My number 5 is actually a Sega game, and it's 1989 Golden Axe.
Okay.
Love Golden Axe. Love Golden Axe 2. Which I think 2 might have came out. Well, yeah, I think 2 came out in the 90s. But if you know me, I'm a sucker for side-scrolling beat-em-ups. I just love them. I got you hooked up. I think you played it for the first time this year, right?
Yeah, right. When we got it on Xbox, we got it on
We got the Sega Genesis Classics.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
that's not the one we play with your son, though, right? That's just that is the one we play all 3 players. Where you have the wizards and the potions.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Such a great game.
Yep.
And
oh, I love it.
It's so old looking when you play it, but it's so much fun.
It's 16-bit.
Yeah.
But it was you had a dwarf. What was it? It was 3 characters. Yeah, it was a dwarf, like a Conan type guy, and then like
an elf or something? Was it an elf?
No. You're thinking of another. The elves are the guys that run out and throw the potions.
Oh, right, yes.
And you collect the potions, and the more magic you have, the better your power up is. And I remember the girl in it. I forgot her name. If you had full magic, you can call the dragon.
Oh, right. That's what I'm thinking.
The dragon would come out and just blow fire on all the. Oh, love Golden Axe though. Yeah. It had to be in my top 5.
Golden Axe is great.
Number 4.
Okay, so I did not realize that this was released in the 90s in the U.S., but technically it did originally come out in 88.
Yeah.
Mario 3.
Mario 3, yeah. The quick story about Mario 3 is when it hit the States, I actually got it early, and I was stoked about it. It came out, like we all of our friends, we were stoked about this game so much because of the movie The Wizard. With Fred Savage. Mm-hmm. You ever see that?
Maybe.
Where they do this big video game competition, and Mario Brothers 3 was in that movie, but the game wasn't out. So we were like, oh man, I can't wait till this fucking game comes out. But it was out in Japan. So we kept waiting. We had a release date, and I found it like a week or 2 early. I bought it. I begged my dad, Dad, Mario Brothers 3, oh my God. So, because we all knew it wasn't supposed to be out, and the store sold it to us. We get home, I call my buddy up on the phone. I said, dude, I got Mario Brothers 3. And he's basically calling me a liar. He's like, dude, it doesn't come out until the 30th or whatever, right? And I go, dude, I fucking had it. And this is before cell phones or anything. I'm calling him on a landline.
Before you can take a picture of it and send it to him.
So I'm like, I'll tell you what, I'll bring it to school tomorrow. So I didn't want to bring the game to school for fear of somebody taking it or whatnot.
Oh, right.
So I brought the box and the booklet. And I showed him, like, see, duh, I got it. He went out, he told his dad, they went out and got it the same night.
Awesome.
Like, oh my God, it came out early. But I left it off my list because it hit the States in the 90s.
And I wasn't aware that when I did my research, it said 88, so I'm like,
88,
ooh.
Yeah, 88 was the actual release date in Japan. But it took a while to hit the States. I don't know why. But otherwise, it would definitely be in my top 10. My number 4 was Mario Brothers 2.
Oh, okay, right.
So we talked about that. What's your number 3?
And the last in the trilogy, Super Mario, came in 85.
Super Mario.
Super Mario.
Okay, I thought you were So before you were talking about Mario Brothers.
Right, Mario Brothers. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Yes.
I was thinking. Okay. I got you.
Super Mario was Super Mario Brothers. This one.
Right, Mario Brothers. The original Mario Brothers was the one where basically you had both of them on screen, and you ran around through the pipes, and you knocked the turtles upside down, and you had to run and knock them over before they flipped back over. Yeah, okay.
Right.
I remember that. All right. My number 3 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. Love that game. I must have popped $30 worth of quarters when I was younger into this game. And then when they finally released it to Nintendo, this came out in 89. When they finally released it to Nintendo, that was another must-have. And the Nintendo version, even though it was 8-bit, It was dumbed down graphics compared to the arcade game. It had extra levels in it. They had a snow level and all this other shit. Absolutely love that game.
Now this is the one that we played in the arcade.
Yes,
right?
yeah, the beat 'em up. It's a side scrolling.
The one where you're playing so long your hand hurts for doing this.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, no rapid fire. No rapid fire. You gotta tap that fight button and then jump attack and all this other shit. I love that game. If I were to build an arcade in my house right now, that would definitely be one of the arcades. Is
nice.
The 4-player Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade.
And I would co-sign to that. It's
Yeah,
a fun game.
Hell yeah. All right, top 2. Do it.
Okay, so this one I absolutely love. I still love it today. It's one of those ones that's like a mindless game. You just play it. You don't have to think on how am I going to beat this boss or that. You just kind of get lost in it. And I could play it for hours. Came out in '84.
No idea.
Tetris.
Oh shit! I didn't even think of Tetris.
It's just that one that you can just sit there and play. You don't have to
I forgot.
mentally think on how to beat this level.
I would have never thought, but you're right. Tetris was our arcade game.
Yep.
In '84, before it got ported to.
And I had it, I believe, on Nintendo or one of those.
I had it for Nintendo.
I have it for my DS. It's one of those games that when he likes to play guitar at night, and I just stick that game in my DS and just play it the whole time because I don't have to think.
Right.
Just.
And that, believe it or not, it did get ported to Sega. And then it got like pulled right away. Some type of copyright bullshit. I don't know. But the Sega Genesis Mini, it's a bonus game on it.
Oh, okay.
The original Tetris, 19 whatever.
And now, I know this is in the 80s, but for the DS, they have a new Tetris DS game that actually is Mario themed.
Yeah.
That's the one that
well, it's
got my
old
mother.
now, yeah.
True.
Yeah, it's old now, but yeah.
It's not 80s old though.
There is a new Tetris game. I'm talking brand new. It came out, I think, on September 5th.
Oh, okay.
Called Tetris 99. And it is for the Switch.
Oh.
So I don't know what's so cool about Tetris 99. I don't know what they did to revamp the game and keep it fresh. But it's a brand new port that came out on the 5th.
Oh, nice. See, and
6
I'm all
days
about that. I'm all about buying a game console just for Tetris. Love it.
Hell yeah. Now, my number 2 is a tie because I believe that these games are almost identical and they were released a year apart. 1980, 1981.
I already know what you're going to say.
Pac-Man, Miss
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. Right. They're classics. I had Pac-Man fever growing up. But Mrs. Pac-Man is the cabinet I was always drawn to as a kid. Because like you said, in the pizza parlors and all that stuff, they had the cocktail cabinets of, those flat cocktail cabinets that you played usually Pac-Man on. But Miss Pac-Man in that blue cabinet with the hot pink and the yellow trim, I was so attracted to that. It just grabbed your attention when you walked by and you played this game for hours. You just kept popping quarters into it. And I think I own Pac-Man on every console I own.
Mm-hmm. Even your cell phone.
Even got the tablet version. I have an arcade 1-up Pac-Man. I have it on Xbox. I have it on Nintendo. I have the shit fucking version that came out for Atari. That's probably the worst Pac-Man ever.
Right.
They just.
You have that little. We have like this little.
Oh, the plug and play.
Plug and play.
Yeah, the whole 9. So yeah, Pac-Man had to be up there, number 2. So what was your 2?
Tetris.
Oh, you said Tetris.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for the number 1s?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So my number 1 is Miss Pac-Man.
Okay.
I love it. I love Pac-Man too, but I have there's something about Miss Pac-Man and Speedy Miss Pac-Man. I don't know if that is. I just kick ass at it. I don't know. Like I really do.
I like Miss Pac-Man for the maze changes. How the maze changes every so often, where Pac-Man is that same maze over and over again, just faster and faster and faster. And then the way she dies too. Right. My number 1. You want to take a guess? You have any idea? I'll give you some hints. I own this. I actually own the 8-bit soundtrack to this. This is one of my favorite soundtracks. It's a side-scrolling shoot 'em
Mario.
up.
Oh.
Side-scroll shoot 'em up. Yeah.
I don't know.
Run and gun.
Okay.
Another version of it. 1987. got the game right when it came out for Nintendo, Contra.
Oh, Contra.
Contra.
Yeah.
There's just something about Contra. It was the first game I ever beat. It was the first game that I ever learned a cheat code to, because we didn't have cheat codes in like an Atari. So you had the up, down, left, right stuff. You know, the Konami cheat code. I love the arcade version of it, and I love pretty much the whole franchise. You know, Super C, Contra 3, Contra Hardcore, and the new Contra that's coming out on all platforms. I think it's called Roadcore.
That I'm very looking forward to.
I think
very
comes out
so.
any day.
Yeah.
Any day now. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Maybe
but
you
it
could
comes
buy
out,
it for me for my birthday.
It comes out this month, so I'm super stoked to play that. I just hope it lives up to its name, and they just didn't do a cash grab by using the name Contra on it. But that is my all-time.
That's a great one.
All-time favorite 80s game is Contra. I'm just drawn to
You
it.
introduced me to that for the first time too.
You have any honorable mentions?
The only two that I have was Duck Hunt, because I love Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt's great.
Paperboy, do you remember?
Oh, Paperboy's great.
So fun.
I had Paperboy on Commodore.
I believe I had it. Did it come out on the Nintendo?
Yeah.
So I had it on Nintendo.
Yeah. I didn't like playing it on Nintendo because of the D-pad.
Okay.
Unless you had the NES Advantage.
Gotcha.
But
yeah.
I didn't like it on Nintendo.
And then I just have Pac-Man. But again, I really think Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man go together.
I'm going to just run through mine. Because we are getting stretched for time here. The 1982 Q*bert. I fucking love
Q*bert.
But it's got to be arcade Q*bert because I hate playing it with a D-pad.
First time I played that was at the arcade with you.
1986 Castlevania.
Yes.
Love the Castlevania series. 1981 Defender for the Atari. Another one of the first games I owned. 1981 Galaga. Galaga was always with the Miss Pac-Man cabinet. You know, you always see that tag team, so you played that a ton. 87, 88, we have Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. Played the shit out of those growing up. 1980, I put Centipede.
I love Centipede.
But I like arcade better because I like playing with the trackball. Right? But the only problem I had with Centipede was that damn for fucking 2 hours this is running down.
Right.
1987 Double Dragon. Fucking classic series. It's just a side-scrolling beat 'em up. And 1986 Metroid.
I'm really disappointed, and I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on the time frame because ask him. I'm terrible with years and distances and everything. But you didn't mention Tempest.
Here's the
I know that wasn't your favorite though.
here's the thing with I do like Tempest, but Tempest in the arcade. Tempest for the Atari 2600 was a fucking joke. A joke. It looked like crap. It played like crap. I own it. But in the arcade, you actually had a rotary dial. Yeah. Right? And it was a vector program.
I've only played it on the...
And Tempest is great. But like I said in the beginning of the video, I could have went on with Atari games. Missile Command was in the 80s. I mean, shit, there was a ton of them. So I just wanted to put the ones that were like, oh my God, I love them to this day. You know what I'm saying? Yep. But we're going to end it here. We'll let you guys know to follow us up on Twitter and Instagram. I got Go5150 as my Twitter handle. Crystal for Crystal's Twitter handle. And then Arena5150 for Instagram. And be sure to like the video. Subscribe if you haven't done that already. Please. The next thing we're going to tackle, and we'll probably have it up probably late this weekend, is we're going to tackle 90s video games. And then next week, we're going to jump into music again and tackle our favorite albums of all time. So thanks again for watching. We will catch you guys on the next one. Until then, peace and hair grease. Bye.